Hey, what up, y'all? I got in up somewhat of an update on the whole Karen Reed mess. Just so happens that AB with the seventh power, and I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, but did a live stream together, and we're gonna get into it real quickly. Let's go. And I will be playing this on
We're
1.5
back, guys. What is today? It's April
speed.
1st. It's April Fool's
I'm
Day.
gonna put this on.
And here's the thing it's the first day of the Karen Reed trial. Although they're in jury selection, right? We have to wait a little bit. We don't have any
I'm putting
live
it
files
on
for this jury out to.
1.5
That's our sweet spot. What we are doing is
for
allowing the
part of
attorneys to
this,
question
and then I'm
the
gonna put
jurors
it
on each
down
side.
to
They have two so far.
1.25
They need 16. So 12 in the
a
box
little
for
bit later
alternates.
on.
2 down. 14 more to go. But although
Oh,
today
you
is
can actually
the
hear it
first day of the
clear,
trial, I'm
clear
really
on
excited. This
1.5.
stream is not about the trial. It is in a sense, but it's more about the creator that I'm really excited to chat with. And I'm going to bring her up in a second. But if you haven't heard of I Am Not a Lawyer, but she is fantastic. Does her thing on TikTok. Sis is almost at 1 million, okay? So I need y'all to give her a warm welcome in the chat. Type Mel in the chat. I need everybody that's here to type Mel in the chat because that is remarkable to be almost at 1 million people that subscribe to her, that watch her, that trust her content, that like her personality. And for me, when I was thinking of people that I wanted to bring on, she was one of the number one people on top of the list that I wanted to bring on. And we're switching from YSL into Karen Reed, but I wanted to bring Mel on because she was in that YSL family and she was one of my favorite creators, like just personally favorite creators. So if you guys are new to her, I want you to get to know her the way I did by watching
I
her
want to try
content.
to get
And
to
I'm just
some
really
Lawyer
thrilled
Abel stuff too
to have
before
her
I
on.
go
And
to
I'm so
bed.
happy. Look at y'all in the chat. Y'all like Mel. Mel is coming. Mel is here. I love it. Warm welcome. Y'all are the best community ever. With that being said, let me bring up Mel. Hello. Hi. Hi. It's so funny. All the bells really do make you feel like it's a hand clap, like it's the word welcome. I love it. Right. Like they're just like, okay, sister's coming up, and like I think this is nice because we have similar audiences. Yeah. Coming from the YSL case into this one. How are you doing? I am well as can be these days with everything happening. Travel everywhere, life, all of it, all of it. So, what trials are you covering these days? I obviously Karen Reed. I did the first round, so I am ready for this one. I did YW Melly first round, so I am monitoring that one. And there was a hearing today, no? Yeah, there was a hearing this morning. So watched that one. There was a new trial that started
Wait, she
today.
doing
So
Soldier Boy?
you know how it goes.
Okay.
I know. Like they now have to start to lock me down. My people have to now start printing stuff out for me. I love it. That's like otherwise stuff doesn't get done. Yes, I'm everywhere all the time. Yeah, I try to keep up with it also. That is amazing. That is amazing. Well, I'm really excited for this conversation because there's some YSL news, but I really want to focus on Karen Reed too. But at the same time, and I'm going to pin that in a second here, comes John, because I do want everybody to follow Mel. Give us a little bit about your background for people that don't necessarily know you, but want to know you. Tell us a little bit about your YouTube journey, what you cover on your channel and your TikTok, and we can go from there. Okay. I will give you the short version, which is I actually have always worked in content. I worked, most of my career I worked in children's content. So I worked at Cartoon Network for like 6 years. And then from Cartoon, I worked at CNN actually for a short stint. And then from CNN, I worked at Netflix. I worked at Netflix for another 6 or 7 years. And again, worked in children's content there, made TV shows, many of the ones that I hope people are still watching. But yeah, so I did a lot of work in content. I've always been behind, the camera. And then I got laid off after I had my second daughter. I got laid off in 20. You didn't do that after you had your child. I was on maternity leave, and they told me that, because obviously they can't, technically do it, so they were like, hey,
That's
when you
douchebag
come back, that's
behavior.
technically going to be your last day, but, you have to turn your stuff in now. Oh, yeah. I took HR law in law school, and it was the most fascinating subject to me. I was just like, do we do this to people? Girl. Yes. Shenanigans, but continue. Yeah, so when my baby was, I don't even know, 4 months old, they told me that, hey, you won't be coming back because you don't work here no more. And so I took the rest of that year, it was 22, right? Yeah, and I was applying for jobs, but nothing was really making me happy. All the interviews, and of course I did all the Disney's and the Nickelodeons and like I said, I worked in kids content, so I did, and I live in LA, so I did all the big ones. Yeah. That's what I'm speaking to me that way. And so I have a podcast with my sister, and I have always been interested in trials and things like that. And so I would talk about the trials I was interested in on the podcast with my sister. And so the commenters, they started saying, Mel, you should make a TikTok about the trial because the way you talk about them gets us all interested. Right. So I made a TikTok off of the first trial that I was watching. Which one was it? It was the Florida case of the NFL player who his girlfriend he ended up killing someone, but they... Travis Rudolph? Got Miss Rudolph. Oh, you bought out the AK, and oh my God, Dominique. Oh my goodness. Yeah, bringing back memory. Yeah. That was the very first trial that I did. I made that video the day after my birthday. We went out to dinner, and by the end of the, and I probably had, I don't know, 500 TikTok followers, like nothing. And I made that video, and by the time like dinner was over, it had like 500,000 views, and like my account went up. And so I was like, I don't know what's happening. This is really weird. And then YNW Melly was starting, and so I was like, I'm interested in this. Like, I would be watching it anyway. And so I decided to make like a, hey, this trial is starting. Here's what you need to know. And it got like 5 million views, and I was like, okay, wow. Hold on, guys. We need to give it up for Mel. Like, yeah, we need to give it up for Mel. That is amazing. Yeah. That's essentially what happened. Wow, that's crazy. So we went to those 2 cases, and then tell us how it kind of continued from there. So after YNW Melly, I just started thinking like, I will do it for the things that draw my interest. Like, if I'm interested in it, I'll just talk about it. And so. And then people started, you know how it is, people started saying, hey, can you cover this one? Can you? So when I didn't have anything on my plate, I would say, oh, let me do this thing that they're asking me to do. And so it just gradually grew. And what's so funny is I went to Spelman in Atlanta. And so I had already been interested in the YSL trial anyway. Right. And so there had been an update on that case. And I was like, oh, you know what? I haven't even made a TikTok for YSL. I should just tell people like what's going on. So it was before the trial started, like when the hearings were still going on, and I made a video. And that one, you know, also did really well. And so I just started adding stuff to my docket, and as trials would happen, I just would start covering them. And I was predominantly TikTok, and then my family started saying, you should like put them on YouTube as well. Like, you should be considering more than one platform. So I just started, I think about a year ago, I started putting stuff on YouTube as well to expand it. I'm so happy you did, because there was like, I had found you, I think it was around the time this past summer with YSL where the state was like, the state and the defense attorneys were going back and forth with motions. It was in between Judge Glanville and Judge Whitaker, and there were a bunch of motions being thrown around. I think your name was in one of them. I said, oh my gosh, this is like, they put you in a motion. I couldn't believe that. Exhibit F. Yes. And I mean, my phone was blowing up because people were like, put my picture on it. I was like riding for you though, because I was just like, I know they're not watching YouTube channels and putting this in as exhibits. Yes, girl. It was the motion from the state to put the gag order on the attorneys because that exhibit F was actually the interview I did with the YC. And they were like, hey, shut these people down. And Doug is very vocal, but I've had an opportunity to interview him after that, like, you know, but he's a great lawyer, number one. And number two, he wasn't saying anything that was stepping over the line. No. So that's how I got winded. And I was just like, oh, she's in emotion, you know? And then you had come to the chat, and then, and then I think one time, Lead and I, when we were covering the YSL case, we were looking for someone that was on the ground. Yeah, I followed you on Twitter, and you were like, I'm here. I think you were at a Spelman event, right? It was our homecoming, and I had gone to town early. It was homecoming, but I was like, you know, I'm going to be in town. I'm going to attend this trial in person. And so I went a couple days early, and it was the infamous day. It was the day that, what's his name? My brain is Hair. Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. Hair, like, I think it was around the time where a lot of defendants were pleading out. Oh, it was the day that caused it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Was it Nicole Westmoreland's client? Yes. But I can't remember who was on the stand, but he said he was reading text message. Oh, I see it in the live chat. What's his Woody Lee? It was like pretty cool. It was Woody Lee. Thank you, Woody Lee. The one first day, it was the day Woody Lee was called to the stand. I hope he doesn't watch this. He's like, why are these ladies calling me Hair? We love you, Woody Lee. We do. But yeah, it was the day he came to the stand and he read the freeway. I was in the courtroom that day, and then they asked for the mistrial, and she said with or without prejudice. And I remember being like, what's happening? And then you guys were like, are you there? That's what's going on. You were like, yes, I'm here. That was so fun, and it was amazing having you come up on Lead's side. But like, you know, more importantly, like I really like pulling up or at least shining a light on creators that are doing their thing, that are like, you know how it is when you go to the courthouse compared to being in your studio. It's very different. And like leaving Netflix and doing this, like you guys do it full time.
Damn it.
We became Web Plus members.
Sorry about that, y'all.
Number one, Web Plus is free
Hold
shipping
on,
once
y'all.
you hit an order minimum. We're always reaching our order minimum, so shipping was always.
Sorry about
doing this, like you guys do it full time, right? You and your husband? Yeah, full time. We're in here. So, you know, it is a grind. It is a grind. I love it. But that's really how we kind of got together, got to know each other, and, you know, doing the YSL thing, you know, like for me, sometimes like I would learn a lot from your content, just like the quick bits after
I won't
the
speed
case
this up
is
again.
over for the day or the trial is over for the day. I loved that you were able to give people those quick bits. I would learn a lot because sometimes I'm watching it for 8 hours and I don't, you know, it's nice to see other perspectives. Yeah, I have to say, even on my end, and I'm just gonna even jump in to say, because streaming is always so, I've tried it, and I'm like, this is so hard. Streaming is my jam, like, I love it. You're like engaged and like funny and interactive throughout it, and I'm like, you got me, what do you do when you're hungry? Like, what? Well, see, and that's the thing. Like, Lead and I had done it for 2.5 years together, so I got a lot of practice. Actually, learning from him, like that's the top. That's absolutely. You know. However, I think for me it's the opposite. When I do standalone videos, I was editing one earlier. I was like, I'm so boring when I'm not streaming. How do people do this? Like, I was like, how? So it's kind of the opposite. And for those that are asking about Lead, he's taking some time off. You guys know he's dealing with some medical stuff, so he's fine. I did talk to him 2 days ago, so he's for anybody that's concerned. But yeah, those are great memories from last year. But yeah, streaming is different. Very. Yeah, very different. It's very different. But I love it. I enjoy it. But like, it's so weird that the opposite is what it's like for me. It's like doing those small, like the shorter videos. I'm like, oh, like I want to be funny. I want to do this. I wanna do that. Like, and you know, now I start building these solo cups. Like, it just become props. Like, there's a Stop and Shop bag in the corner over there. Like, I just do it. I love it. The red solo, so appropriate. Yes, yes. That being said, so we talked a little bit about YSL. There's a few things coming this year connected to that case. We'll talk about that towards the end. Like Karen Reed. How did you get into this one? How did this land on your radar?
That's another one that before the trial started, someone messaged me like, hey, can you talk about Karen Reed? I'm like, I don't even know what that is, but I started doing research, and of course Turtle Boy's website was one of the first things I came across. And actually at this point, I don't think he had like recently gotten locked up. And so
And I found out about Karen Reed through AV to the Seventh Power. Shout out to you. And I also want the reason that I myself look at the Karen Reed case was because it looked like a woman was being railroaded by the system. So that's why I got into Karen Reed.
when I made my first video about the case, people were like DMing me on Instagram, like, "Oh my gosh, he saw your video, he loves it, like the way that you." And so I was like, "Okay." Because the case is so fascinating. After I made the videos, people were like, "When did the trial?" And I was like, "I know I did it too early." You know, when you talk about stuff really early before the trial starts, everybody's like, "Talk about it." And you're like, "It's not happening yet."
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I had done the recaps before it started, and then when it finally started, and I started doing the videos, I was just so drawn in because.
Girl, I think this, like, I'm gonna say it right now, chat. This one is crazier than YSL. I'm sorry, it is. It is.
In a different way.
It is.
Because it's so, but it's so insane. But and I don't.
Yeah. Where do we start? Where do you want to start? I mean, it's so insane on so many levels because you have, number one, the snowstorm happening. Yeah. You have drinking happening. You have,
By everyone.
yeah, you have Karen dropping him off. Yeah. Connecting to his Wi-Fi 6 minutes later at 12:36. She wasn't there. Jennifer McKay was the ass dials. All the butt dials. I mean, all of the ass dials. And this is what blows my mind. One ass dial happens, and it pings to another ass. And that ass picks up. Like, this ass picks up from this ass. And if it was an ass dial, when it went to voicemail, wouldn't there be like a long recording?
And there's none.
And there's none. We had 11 people come out of the house, not see a body on the front lawn. An officer body.
And it's of a snowstorm, which means the ground is white. And this is everything with clothing on, which would be contrast. They would contrast with the white snow, and nobody sees the body.
So nobody sees the body. 11 bodies don't see the body. And Jen McKay is calling and doing all this stuff, and then she is Googling how long to die in cold. Right. So we have that. Then, like Karen's home. Like, once I saw the fact that she connected to the Wi-Fi at 12:36, and Jen is just like, oh, at 12:45, she was still outside. Technology is showing you lying.
I mean, so we're talking about you.
Right. So, like, her testimony was probably the most explosive. But then, like, because I think both of our audiences are starting to, like, get geared up for this and know the timeline. So all of that happens. Karen, actually, the reason why she went home, she dropped him off. She didn't drop him off. She was going to go inside with him. She said, can you go inside and see if we're welcome, right? And he never came outside. It took her a while, and she was pissed off. And I'm sorry, like, you're taking a long time. Dude, what are you doing? And she got mad. And it was just like, I'm leaving. So far, that's the story.
Yeah.
And all these people come outside, in and out of the house. Nobody sees him on the front lawn because the state is alleging that she backed into him while he was holding a cocktail glass.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, the pirouette. Tell us about the cocktail glass, because you had a nice little moment when I saw it. It was the cocktail glass.
She had a cocktail glass from the bump, so he can't, because everybody in Canton drinks and drives, and all the cops included.
But it's not really customary to take the glass with you.
What?
Right? You're like, oh yeah, I'm just taking this. I'll bring it back to you tomorrow.
Like tomorrow. Insane. And then he's out behind the vehicle. She reverses faster than most people reverse, apparently. Hits him. He does a pirouette.
Oh my God, we don't even
Falls, hits his head, and then is left to die in the cold.
Right. And all these people are inside, in and out of the house, and allegedly nobody sees that he's out there.
Except the one girl, I can't remember her name, who when the car was pulling away, she saw a blob. who I have not gotten over her because I feel like she diverted from the script, and I think when she left the stand, they were like, about no woman. Judah mentioned a law. Nobody said law. Right, and that's Julie Nagel. Yeah, thank you, Julie Nagel. And that's the thing. I think Julie slipped up. Yes, they had a tight story, and Julie was the person that kind of opened it up a little bit. Yes, was just like, hey, come inside the house, come see what's here, because Julie was getting picked up by her brother, right? And she would have been outside and saw that happen if it happened. I'm so happy we're doing this collab. Like, oh, the whole trial is silly. But yeah, so it gets better because after the magic pirouette, I don't want to talk about Triple Paul. He makes my head hurt. Oh, he was my favorite. That's my favorite testimony ever. Really? That replayed every day because that was funny. Action Jackson. Oh, that's I done got that ass. Why did he was up there making that boy look elementary. He did, and the thing is with Trooper Paul, like when he said the crime scene spoke to him, the crime scene spoke to him. It just gave me Miss Cleo vibes. You haven't seen me do it, Mel, but chat knows. Like I put on the head wrap, and I was like, "Call me now for your fabricated reading." Trooper Paul, the crime scene is speaking to us. Oh, and he didn't know that Alan actually had like an engineering background. Yes. Was like in the Air Force or Navy as like a pilot and an engineer. Like, what are you talking about, sir? He's like, what's acceleration? I took it in a class. I was so nervous. Did you learn that in your class? I said, well, this is fun. It was, and Alan's really, he's number one, he's a great attorney. He's from your neck of the woods, right? Like, yeah. Like, I was pulling out tarot cards. I was like, we have the justice card. Like, like, I put on the rap, like, they like, but like, I just couldn't believe that he said that the crime scene was speaking to him. Then they had a leaf blower. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So we are kind of venting, guys, as content creators about this, but it's like, all of that happened. Julie's outside. Allegedly, this incident happens. John's in the snow. It snows a little bit more. A man named Lucky drives by on a snowplow. Yeah. And said he didn't see a body, but he saw a car. Uh-huh. And so there's that part. Yeah. Karen wakes up, I think 4 a.m. John's still not home. Mm-hmm. And so her and her friends go looking. You know who's in the car? Jen McCabe. Jenny. Jenny is the person that was calling his phone. I think it was like, what, 70 times, guys? Yes. 70 times altogether. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Listen, all this research is just scattered on my desk. That's how deep I am in Karen Reed. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 calls, I believe, and a few text messages some of them after Karen left the scene. Mm-hmm. 12:41 phone call. 12:42 phone call. No, 12:42 text message. Where are you? Sis, Karen's gone. He's in the house. Like he's in the house. 12:43 phone call. 12:45 phone call. Sorry, 12:45 is a text that says, hello? All ass dials. How is it ass dials if you're texting in How is it an ass call if you're texting? Guys, now I have a headache. Now I'm looking at these timelines last night. Oh, wait, also, this is what also has never made sense. This is from my experience. If you tell me you're coming to my house, and I see your car, I see headlights or brake light indicating that, oh, I was expecting her, she's outside of my house. Mm-hmm. And then you never come in. I'm not just gonna let that go. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go outside like, hey, are you not gonna do what happened? Are you okay? You came to my house, but then you never came in, you never indicate why, and I just move on. Never makes sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't, not at all. So it's like, we have the whole pirouette thing, he's outside, knowing none of these people saw him. I'm looking at this timeline now, it definitely doesn't make sense. Our last call was at 12:50. So between 12:31 and 12:50, we see all these series of phone calls and text messages. And like, it's hard because when you're watching court cases, and you know this, sometimes the information comes off as true. Yeah, I think Alan did a great job, and so did Yannetti, like getting this out there. But when you see the videos on this, I think it was, shout out to Microdot. I think that's the channel I was watching last night that really broke this down, and they like use the text sounds like, they show the text, yeah. I was just like, oh, that's what happened. And that's why I was writing this down. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Yeah. So all this time goes by, Lucky doesn't see a body, and I think he had driven by. Karen gets her friends, and they start going out to look for him. Yes. And there's a 911 call, and her girlfriends are saying, Karen, shut the F up, you're being hysterical. Like, she can't find him. And like, for women in the chat, like, we all have our relationships, whether you're married or you have a significant other. If he didn't come home, if something happened to him in the middle of the blizzard, can y'all put a 1 in the chat if you would be worried? The bare minimum. Yeah. What do you think about how Jen McCabe was like acting in the car with these 911 calls and all of that, and telling her to calm down? And I think that's was that the what Jen's terrible imitation that she does of Karen, where she's like, yeah. It drives me crazy. Oh my gosh, I hate that. But like every time you can see her face and like the intensity, it's just so annoying. I hate that. I hate it so bad. Anyway, they better be lucky that's all she did. Because are you kidding me? I have a whole husband. If he didn't come home, if I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm raising all hell. I don't care who's around. Everybody's sitting all up and we're searching. Like, what are you talking about? There is no overreacting or exaggeration. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is none of that. So, anyway, yeah, I think and then for them to say that he was their friend. How is he your friend and you're acting like this?
Well, yeah, like, not for nothing, but Jen McCabe called this ninja a few times. Like, why is it, now why are we acting brand new and different?
Exactly.
That just, it didn't make any sense, because it's like, how are you that intense the night before on calling, or your ass was that intense on calling him and texting him? Like, you were twerk dialing,
Everybody got that one.
Yeah, and then in the morning, it's just a little bit more mellow, and you need to calm down, Karen.
Yeah.
And then they find him, and she's screaming, like he's, I don't know if he's non-responsive or whatever the case may be. It's kind of hard to see in those blurry police videos. Like, there were dash cams. Yeah, I don't think we saw a body cam. It was mostly dash cam. But John was found on the front lawn the next day, and it looked like he was going through hypothermia. Let's talk a little bit about the wounds and things. What do you think? And let's, because again, like, we're walking our people through this timeline as this trial starts again today. But, like, what do you think about the wounds?
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous, right? Like, getting hit by a vehicle to the point that you die, and the wounds that you have are scratches? It makes no sense. Like, what part of the car is scratching your arm up? That, it doesn't make sense. The wounds do not match. And the clothes, like, nothing about the story matches. So, yeah. When I saw the marks on the arms, that was one of the things where I've been researching. I was like, well, hold on now. This don't make sense. Because why would that be what's on, like, it just, yeah.
It's strange. And for those that don't know and that are catching up, the owner of the house, Brian Albert, he had a dog named Chloe, who nobody could find after he sold the house. And rehomed. We couldn't find Chloe. Had no idea what Chloe was. Chloe was a German Shepherd.
A German Shepherd. Make sure you hear that loudly. A German Shepherd.
Who had bitten people before. A history of biting 2 people before. And, when he was on the stand, they were asking him about this. He's very nonchalant. Like, yeah, we just rehomed her. It wasn't a big deal. Okay.
Their 7-year family dog, which used to be a police dog, and is a German effing Shepherd.
Named Chloe.
Just
sprinkle some nice on it, like, pop-up girls, like, sprinkle some sugar spice, sprinkle a little something nice on there.
Because, but also, I emphasize, I'm sorry, if all your
girl, like, this is I love this conversation. We are venting. I love this.
Because Chloe, being a German Shepherd and an ex-police dog who lives in a home with a police officer, okay, there is a dead body on the lawn. Ambulance pulls up. Karen Reed's outside yelling to the point Jim McCabe telling her to shut up. Okay, everybody's out there. And everybody in the Albert's home, Brian Albert, the owner of the home, his wife, his dog, even the dog, are all sleeping, have no idea that there's a whole crime scene on their front lawn.
Let's tell them. A German Shepherd
didn't wake up. I say likely. It doesn't make sense. That's just not a thing. My sister has a small little dog, and if I get close to the door, he's barking. You cannot tell me that a German Shepherd, which come on, who are you talking to? Yeah.
The likelihood of the dog not hearing what was going on inside.
Rough.
Yeah, the sirens, the screaming, the lights, those are all things that would, at least for the dog, to start stirring. And if she wasn't in a crate, if she was just, like, I have a dog, y'all know YSL Luna. That's what we call her. Her name's Luna. They named her YSL Luna. We even got her bandana in here. No, it's not. We got her little bandana that says, I did these crimes.
I love it.
So it's like, dogs hear things that as humans we can't. So it's kind of strange that Chloe wouldn't have reacted or tried to wake her owners up or like made some noise or something. Apparently Brian Albert, the owner of the home, was lit. He sleeps with the phone in his bed, not on the nightstand. I don't know, there was some allegations of some things happening with his wife, which I talk about that, understand. Maybe that was the reason for the ass dial.
Yeah.
So there was that being said, but they didn't wake up until about 7 a.m. and the police responded at the scene at 6 a.m.
Well, and they woke up because I think it was Jen goes in their house to wake them up. She has to enter their home because their door's unlocked. Okay, they leave the doors unlocked.
I didn't even know that.
And then she goes, opens the door, and the dog doesn't even come running downstairs. Chloe is upstairs still sleeping. A whole burglar came in there and held up that whole house. And Chloe, the German Shepherd, would have missed the whole thing because she was asleep.
Hold on, shout out to Tiffany. She said, y'all keep calling her Chloe. They called her it. Okay, all right. She's like, thank you, Tiffany. She said, no. Brian Albert called the dog it.
Listen, for 7 years, that was a family dog. Get out of here. Who are y'all talking to? I don't like when people talk to me like I'm dumb. He would have get off the stand because you acting like we dumb. This don't make sense.
Exactly. And then
we do need to talk, before we talk about how they collected the crime scene and all this shit over here. Brian Albert and Brian Higgins were obviously lit. They were coming from New York. They were coming from a funeral. They stopped and had like beers or whatever at other bars before they went to the waterfall with the collective group. When I heard that Brian Higgins had 5 drinks and went and started to push snow, I'm not calling it snow, I'm calling it snow. He went and started to push snow with a snow plow and went to the police station. That blew my mind. I was like, police officers are really driving around drunk in snowstorms. And he's like, yeah, I need to go plow at the police station. And then you're at the police station at 2 o'clock in the morning. You're getting ass dials, phone calls. You're going, what are you doing?
What part of this makes sense?
I know. I mean, you can't make this up.
You cannot.
You can't.
It's absurd.
Yeah. And I just, in squad cars, Tiffany's coming. She's like, hold on, let me remind y'all.
And there's squad cars.
In squad cars. It's baffling. And it's like, you know, we're coming from the YSL trial where a lot of absurdities happen, a lot of injustices happen to, you know, young men. You know, in this case, this is a woman that's being framed. And I'm like, if y'all, you know, Dave Chappelle had that joke about, okay, you find this guy, you put some frames up, you sprinkle some crack on him and make it seem like he's guilty. In this case, it seems like they just sprinkled some red tail light.
I'm literally. Yes. And don't even get into Higgins.
Yes.
The day before, he gets this notice, right, that where you can't get rid of your phone, sir, because we're gonna. What does he do? He does the officers a favor and extracts what he wants them to have himself. Let me help you. I will give you the evidence you need, and then goes on a military base and put 2 trash bags. He took the SIM card out, cut it in half, and put it in 2 trash bags, not 1, 2. On a military base, out of his way.
Down south, allegedly he had a house down in that area. But like to do that, you're really putting in some effort here.
The day before the order.
Girl, I mean, I don't know. I'm just having a vent about this. I think chat is too. So they do that, right? And it's just like, oh yeah, we're not trying to cover anything up. There's nothing suspicious here. So he gets rid of his phone. Brian Higgins gets rid of his phone too. I'm sorry, not Higgins. Albert gets rid of his phone too around the same time.
Sure. Because it was his birthday, even though his birthday was like in 2 months, and he just got a new one.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I'll give him this. Around September, Apple does do that. You know, they do it. You know, I wanted to be fair. They do it. But most of the time, I just upgraded myself. You do that transfer thing where everything you had before gets put onto the new phone. Like, it's 2022. And at that time, it might have been 2023. That wasn't that long ago. You would have had that feature to just copy everything over to the new phone.
Absolutely.
But they don't have some of the same things from before. The other one wanted to destroy the SIM card because he was an undercover ATF agent and somebody had called him, but it wasn't, like they were asking him if it was a threatening phone call. He said that it was, but he didn't report it for a month and a half.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know. I don't get it.
It makes no sense.
Yeah,
Makes
let's
no
talk about evidence
sense.
collection.
Facts.
So after all these
Nothing
people come
makes
outside,
sense.
No, they didn't come outside. They stayed inside. When the police officers respond to the scene, they, you know, get John's body. They try to, you know, resuscitate him, give him care, bring him to the hospital. When they literally showed the video evidence of the leaf blower, I don't want to live here anymore. Like, I grew up in Boston. I don't want to live here again. I lived in Kent. I lived on Washington Street. I lived right around the corner. I was just like,
You know the Alberts, because everybody speaks.
no. I didn't talk to many people out there, but it's like, you know, a lot of people are very chummy. Like, they grow up in that town. They know each other, and they go from there. I have another friend who I might call after this. He probably still lives there. Grew up in Kent his whole life.
Okay.
Small town vibe. But it's like, to hear that, and even just as a citizen, if something happens to you, y'all are gonna be using leaf blowers in red Solo cups to collect my blood. Good luck. Put it in a grocery bag. Leave it in your trunk for a week.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
This is how we investigate cases. That was crazy. And then it's like, didn't the cops come from across the street?
Yes, from the neighbor. Absolutely. I don't even want to
Mel, what are we doing here? Mel,
I don't think. What is so insane to me is that there was a jury of people who heard all of this same evidence and could not collectively arrive at a not guilty verdict. Blows my mind.
So that's like, you have problems with evidence collection.
Yes.
So that's huge.
Yeah.
They also didn't ask anybody in the house what happened, or they didn't search the basement where allegedly that's where we think the incident took place with the dog.
Yep.
They showed, you know, the victim, John O'Keefe, had an Apple Watch on. It showed that he took some steps, going up and down them stairs, and it looked like he went up and downstairs. He didn't go upstairs, but it showed that he might have went to the basement, back up the stairs, right?
Yeah.
And the location with his watch, he was moved, to the front lawn. And then the prosecution is, even with that evidence, the prosecution is still saying she backed the car into him. Like this.
Forget everything you just heard. Just pay attention to we're saying she backed her car up.
Yeah.
at like a remarkable speed that is almost physically impossible to happen. So we know that we have all of that evidence on his like wrist.
Yes.
And you know, these people were not questioned. That basement was not searched. I think they were asked like light questions.
Well, and they weren't separated.
So they had time as a group to talk about what to say, what to do, speculation, because we don't know, and they're all gonna lie, you know. But it's like the crazy part, chat. After this, Brian Higgins, who was texting Karen, is trying to steal John O'Keefe's girl. Okay, listen, he was in her DMs
When they brought the messages out, I said, Karen, Henry, girl, come to the front.
Right. So they had been talking, but that night at the waterfall, the last bar that they were at before everybody went to find Albert's house, she sees him, he sees her.
Uh-huh.
And John, her man, is there. So there's some stuff happening. And that's where this theory, the defense theory of Brian Higgins being jealous of her being with her boyfriend and she ignored him, kind of comes from, right? This man, after all these people get questioned, was lit. Remember, he was at the police station at 2 a.m. the night before, moving snow, pushing snow.
Before?
Yeah, well, it's not the night before. It's all the same day, 2 a.m. Okay? 7 a.m. Everybody gets questioned. After that, he goes back to the police station. Okay, and he stays there all day trying to badge in, see what's going on. He's over. It's his day off. Okay? It's his day off.
Gotta be all in the tea. What y'all talking about? Who got a call? Who was working? What? That's somebody died, not me. Who did it?
Like just badging in all the places. You're there for all these hours.
Who goes to work on their day off? Who chooses to go to work on their day off? Except for the fact that you're trying to be nosy.
Right, and so like, you know, if he's trying to make it seem like, oh, you know, John was a friend, I care about him, I want to be close to the investigation, most police officers that are working the investigation would be like, you just had a loss, you probably should go home and get some rest, we got this.
Yes.
Unless you have information that can help us, well, we got it.
Yes.
Relax. Yeah. Who let him run around that building? That's the other question. Who let him run around that building like that?
Because they're all in cahoots, and it's the chief of police. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What Erkowitz, was that his name?
I heard he passed.
He did. He passed recently, but he had resigned prior and then passed away. He sure did.
Oh my God.
I know.
So this whole case, it makes my head hurt.
Oh.
Because it's like with Brian running around, and he works for ATF, he's not even a Canton police officer.
Just happens to have an office there because he's goody-goody with the chief of police.
On his day off. And think about it. If the chief of police isn't your boss, he was running around unchecked.
Who's gonna tell him what to do? Nobody.
Oh my God! So that's like the gist of it, guys. But then Karen's car, there's more. It's like
The inverted video. Don't even get started on the inverted video.
you take this one. Tell them about the inverted video.
So Karen's vehicle. Karen, after this incident happens, Karen goes to her parents' house. Her vehicle, the officers come out to her parents' house. She lives with her parents are in another part of the area.
Yeah.
They tow her vehicle back to the Sally Port. The Sally Port is like the garage, like the police garage. Tow her vehicle back. And there are cameras, you would think, in the Sally Port. So this evidence is brought into court. And on cross-examination, what's discovered, I mean, what a moment. What a moment. I remember the moments when Jackson, I'm pretty sure it was Ella Jackson, basically reveals that the video that he was given, that the prosecution has been showing to the jury, is actually inverted. Okay, it is flipped. So it makes it look like the driver's side is really the passenger side, and the passenger side is really the driver's side. And so why that matters is because it placed a person, Karen's vehicle, the brake light was shattered.
Yeah.
And so when they inverted the video, it looks like there's a person on the side of the vehicle that doesn't have a shattered brake light, and nobody is around the area where the brake light was shattered. When in reality,
So the investigation video is upside down. Is that what you're telling me? Let's continue.
Michael Proctor's ass was over there.
Oh shit. We
On the side of the shattered brake light. And it was completely inverted, and the only reason that it was ever brought out or mentioned that it was inverted is because the defense is because Alan Jackson brought that up. They were on that stand lying, and the prosecution apparently had no idea that it had ever been inverted. And I don't understand how that was able to how that wasn't a damn mistrial right there, because what should have been?
Yeah, it should have been. And then there's people disappearing, there's timestamps, and you know, as a content creator, when we cut things out, it's like, 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 it was just cutting up like that, and they said it's because it was a police station.
Yes.
If you had somebody in cuffs, in custody, it's motion activated, or would you want it to just be on all the time?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Michael Proctor, let's go here.
Oh my.
Guys, let's talk about Michael Proctor. He was the lead investigator on this case. And he had like a team. He had 2 managers that were above him. I thought it was like a 3-chain, but it seems like there were just 2 people on the same level above him that watch everything happen. He has now been fired. He said some of the most vile things about her the next day in a text message with his high school friends. Okay, not police officers, high school friends. It's like if me and Mel were working a case and all of y'all in chat, that's our group chat. Like, y'all, guess what we found out today? And that's what it's like. A full-blown state police officer. In the state of Massachusetts, you have local police, and then you have state police. They're the highest level of law enforcement, at least in the state. Then you have the FBI and government federal agencies. But in the state police, like we call them states. I'm on the highway, if I see one of them cars, I'm like, oh shit, let me slow down. You know, like, let me slow down. Yeah, let me get to 65. We don't want to mess with states, but that's the level of esteem they have in this state. So to hear that we live in a place where a person that works on that level is making fun of this suspect whom he made fun of her medical condition. I'm gonna say it, y'all. He said she had a leaky balloon bag. Balloon knot. Okay,
Ooh.
okay, one of the things. Balloon knot. Thank you for the clarification. But like even with that, I didn't even know what a balloon knot was.
We were like, what?
Yeah, and then the men in the chat were like, oh, let me tell you. I was just like, all right, guys. But still, it was like, damn.
Yes.
And he was pretty much saying that she was at fault without fully investigating it.
Yes.
And he picked up the car. It was missing for about an hour. And it showed up without, and correct me if I'm wrong, without the tail light. Because before, I heard when it was at Dighton, the other town where her parents lived, the tail light was there, but it was cracked. Correct. Okay. So it shows up to the police station where the incident happened without the tail light.
Well, at some point it becomes, well, that's the part of the problem with the video, is because you have the video. Oh, when it's out on the, like, on the outside when they're reeling it in, was it gone at that point?
So that's the question. And chat, I know so many of you guys correct us because a lot of y'all have been very close to the case. I have been seeing reports of the taillight being cracked when it was in Dighton, Massachusetts.
Yep.
And video of that versus when it shows up in Canton, it's either removed, like there's like, you can see like almost like the insides of the taillight. Like it's like the silver part.
I think that's what happened while it was there, because I think what they're essentially saying is they towed her vehicle from her mom's house to this garage, and the reason why this video in this garage is so choppy and why there's minutes missing, periods of time, and why it's inverted is because what's actually happening is Michael Proctor is over there crashing out on that taillight and breaking it, and so all of a sudden it's all messed up.
Gotcha. Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like there's this time missing, but also, here's the best part, guys. After this investigation happens, meanwhile, while they're in the Sally Port, while they're in this garage, they didn't even block off the car like in a rectangle. They used a dummy as one of the cornerstones of crime scene tape. It was in a triangle. That blows my mind. So like that shows like y'all really didn't give a shit about protecting this crime scene. Like, you know, protect it correctly. If the car is evidence, do a rectangle around the car with the crime scene tape. They did a whole square, like a whole triangle. You know, like one of these. Like one of these, that's how it looked. You know, like the right angle on the bottom, it looked like that. And then the tip was the dummy. And we called that Trooper Paul. Trooper Paul! You know, like it was just crazy. So you can see that something was done in a rush. Something was done concealed, or we can't see what they're doing in that other corner over there. And then magically, 2 to 3 weeks later, shards of the taillight from this car are sprinkled on that lawn. And they said the snow melted. Then we have it.
And as days go on, more show up. It's like, oh, so the first time it's like, oh, there's red taillight pieces. Okay, let's go pick them up. And then tomorrow it's like, hey, there's more. And it's like, I thought we picked up the pieces yesterday.
Y'all had a leave.
Really?
You would've thought.
It's insane. Like nothing about it makes logical sense. It's not reasonable. It's not something that, like, if I told you the story, you would have so many questions, and that's why it's so infuriating, because this makes no sense. What are we talking about here? Y'all are not even good liars.
Not at all. Like not even remotely close. It revealed itself. Shout out to the good glow. I think what we could do, because is there anything else we're missing from the story, Mel, just to get our people like?
Yeah. No, I think I tell everyone in everyday life that they need to be paying attention to this case, because it is, not only is it just, it's insane, but because so many people have, I mean, just different life experiences, and you never, you know, YSL is so different, but honestly, YSL was full of a lot of black defendants and black men defendants. And this is a white woman who is on trial, okay? And so I'm like, pay attention to this one too, because look at what, the idea that somebody could be framed is like, I'm not really a conspiracy girl, so I'm always like, I don't know about all that. But when you look at the facts of this case, you cannot help but wonder, what the hell is happening over again?
Yeah, but it's also just from a legal perspective. Like, I'm going to be honest, chat. I don't feel safe living here. I mean that. Like, I'm out. As soon as we're done, I'm leaving Massachusetts. I ain't coming back. Because it's like, if law enforcement is acting like this as a citizen, I have no confidence. And I would never trust you with an investigation of myself and a family member, even if a family member that was on the defendant side or, you know, on the state side. Yeah. How do we trust you to, number one, get justice for someone that has been wronged? But number two, are you going to really treat defendants fairly?
You're exactly.
And so, like, that's why it is such an important case. I think it's an important case if you're a woman in the state, like, what, shit, like, you know? But also, if you're a person of color, there's not many of us up here. Like, the state is 30% multicultural. But it's also just something to pay attention to. This is where our tax dollars are going. We talked about that a lot with YSL. Where our tax dollars going? You know, so,
Yeah.
shenanigans. Shenanigans.
And then this is my only last thing that we're not going to get in this case, which makes me a little bit, I mean, in this 2.0 trial, which makes me a little bit sad, is because of the third party culprit defense and the defense saying that Brian Higgins, Brian Albert, and Colin Albert were responsible. Colin Albert's testimony was some of the most, and I say this, let me be clear, I say this being very mindful and respectful of the fact that somebody has died here, so it's not quite of that. However, Colin Albert on the stand and Alan Jackson playing that video and repeatedly saying, "What did you say? Pull up, bitch."
You know what? Shout out to Kelly Kill, my favorite 2L in the chat. She sent me that this morning. I was like, oh my word.
It is the best time. Alan Jackson, I think he was getting such a kick out of saying it because he just kept saying it. No, say what you said. Say what you did just say. Or when he played the video of Big Bang. Oh my gosh, it was just so comical.
No, I mean, yeah. He pins people down. He did it to Colin. He did it to Proctor too. Like he pinned them down. Like, did you say this? And that's when he puts the sauce on it. Like, hold on, did you say? I'm almost embarrassed to say this, but did you say this? Like,
Don't be trying to play the B word. Say what you said. And Ben is like, is it what you said? Then you have to say what you said. And they're like,
and then she'd be like,
the deep sighs.
the deep sighs, like, can you repeat that again?
Man, what a time.
It is. But here's what we'll do, guys, because we're just about at an hour. I don't want to hold Mel. I know she's got stuff to do. I got stuff to do. We're going to read some super chats. If y'all have some questions for Mel, we'll take a few of them. Put a Q in the chat and ask your question. But let's come to super chats first. Shout out to the legal court with 5 that says, I blame Mel for my obsession with Karen Reed. It's her fault.
I wear that badge honorably. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yes. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that, too, because, like, I saw your video with the glass, and you were like, you turned around.
What a time.
People loved that. People did. Shout out to Legal Port. Thank you so much. Shout out to Cases and Cams with Daniel Cunningham. Been a member for 4 months. Says, good evening, y'all. Good evening to you. We love to see you here. Critical Conversations HR with the 5, no comment, no question, pure love of the game. Thank you. Keita G, an attorney from Boston. Right? She drops a 10. She says, this case infuriates me. Unfortunately, Karen walked into this when she trusted Jen. Jenny and Carrie to help her find John. But none of them expected Karen to fight this hard. I think she's absolutely right. Like, you know, Jen got on that stand, and like you said, when she was just like, Jen! That face is like on thumbnails for days. When I did her testimony, it's so crazy, y'all. My editor, I was just like, hey, can you make a thumbnail? I'm gonna do Jen McCabe. He showed up with her, like, and I was like, okay. He took that one as a picture. I said, we can't do that. He's just like, no, we need to do it. Shenanigans. But did you think, to Keita's point, do you think that Jen thought that, oh my God, Karen was gonna fight this hard?
No, I don't think any of them thought that, honestly, because I don't think they were prepared. And these attorneys are so good that, I mean, Lally was not good.
No, lollygagging. We just lollygagged.
He was not good. And so I don't think anybody was prepared. And so that's why it's going to be so interesting this time to see what adjustments, obviously we have Hank Brennan now, but to see what adjustments have been made, you know, with the teams. And of course, Karen also has some new attorneys on her side. So I'm so very curious how this is going to play out, what, you know, where the pivots are going to be made. I'm so curious.
Yeah, because we have Alessi. I like him. And like last week, I saw you on Twitter. As soon as Bev was like, no, I'm not going to give you the attorney-client privilege stuff from the text message from a documentary, she like cut Alessi off, and he was in the middle of chefing.
Yes, for real. And as she should have, because what are we doing? What are you asking for? Even if it's appropriate, that's what you think you should ask for right now. Just a mess.
Privilege, information, craziness. Thank you so much, Keita G. We love you so much, Keita. Tough woman. It's been a member for 3 months. Says happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Going up on a Tuesday. Yeah, it is. Terrence up here with the 2 says Jen called 911 calm, but woke up Albert's hysterical. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, she apparently woke him up like, hey, wake up, like with the same energy. Think about that. The energy she had on the stand. Jen. Did she wake up? Brian, wake up! There's somebody dead on your line. Did she do that? Did she? Where's this? Did we have same energy?
Yes.
Interesting. Here comes Drama. I know she's a part of your community too. I love her so much.
Yes.
She is. She dropped 10 week memberships. That's super, super sweet of you guys. And here comes Drama. I pinned it to the top of the chat, and I'm going to add it to the description box. You guys, please follow Mel. Like, if there's like any content creators, like I'm super careful with who I work with. I rock with Mel 1,000%. I loved her videos on this case, and it goes to show she's got almost 1 million people on TikTok. She says, I'm not a lawyer, but she does some great things. And we just talked about it for an hour. So if you're not following Mel already, check her out on TikTok. One of the mods could drop the link to her channel. Please check her out as well. Here comes Drama. She's She's such a sweetheart. I have so much love for her. And I know she's a part of your community too, so I'm really excited to see that. Kelly Kell, our favorite 2L, drops 5, number 2. So she is a law student in the Boston area.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she honestly her and Keita are the reason why I started covering this case. Because we were all busy doing YSL and other cases, and you know, Mel, we can't do two things at the same time. They were like, girl, they were like about to rope me down, like, come, you know, so they were like, look at this, look at this. So I'm just so happy that we have like strong advocates in this space, especially women that are, you know, into it, that are like, hey, please check this out. And look at Miss Keita G.
I love it. This is amazing.
Yeah, she pops in with another 10. Y'all go show I'm not a lawyer, but some love too, right? Please do that. And just while you're here, what is your Cash App? I should have asked you that before.
Oh, what is it, child?
I'm gonna put it in the banner, guys. If you want to support Mel during the stream, that's my fault. I was being poor planning, but if you want to support Mel too, the best way to do this, I'm gonna put her Cash App in the banner. You can just drop it in the chat. I will pin that too. Y'all.
Okay. I will.
And even people that are watching this on rewatch, what do you think of our conversation? Drop your questions, comments in the comment section, and I'll make sure that you guys have Mel's information so that way you get to her, you want to support her and her channel. That is how you can do that. Did you pin it? There we go.
I just posted it.
There it is. Let me take it over here.
I should make it on my lawyer, but first of all.
Hey, listen, we build it as we fly. There are things I have to do every day. I'm like, oh, I forgot to do this. I forgot to do that. Like, that's just what it is. I'm going to put her Cash App in the banner, guys. And we'll go from there. So, Mel's Cash App. Okay. Hang on, let me spell that correctly first. But yes, and you know, like, this is the thing, like, we just have great communities on both sides, and we can definitely go there. Okay, perfect. So I updated that for anybody that is interested and blessing our girl Mel. But thank you again, Keita G, for the 10 memberships. Keita hits me with another 10, says the town of Canton is incestuous. Case is corruption on steroids because of how intertwined everyone in the case is. So, you know, to her point, people know each other. There are many Alberts and McCabe's. People have been calling them the McAlberts. So many people.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you know each other like that, you have family members that are on the Albert side and the McCabe side, and they've known each other for years.
Yeah.
Stuff. It really is. And thank you for that one, Keita. And she comes back with another 10, says, what kind of judge allows a prosecutor to show an inverted video during a trial that was only thought of on cross?
Yep. Exactly.
I just realized that, Keita. It only came up on cross and feel no way about it. Oh, a biased judge. Ridiculous. Because that's the thing. The prosecutor showed it to the jury.
Yes.
Unquestioned, unchecked, without... What about the best evidence rule? Like, you know, and that's the thing. Like, when you show... I'm going to look it up for y'all. I might do a video on that. Like, it's not good evidence. It's not factually correct. And it was put in front of these people. To your point, Mel, earlier, you said this should have been a mistrial right there.
A mistrial. I don't understand how she allows that to keep going.
And she's doing the retrial. Like, she's back.
It doesn't make sense to me. That literally, I'm like, what? This is crazy.
It is. It totally is. Thank you so much, Keita G. Deonra gifted a membership. Thank you, D. Really appreciate you for that one. He said, Karen Reed and YSL proves multicultural corruption. Well, it does. It does. I mean, in this case, we see it. We see it. Shout out to Mark, the paralegal. Been with me for 7 months. Says, don't worry, Detective Relly and Paw Patrol are on the case now. Man, you did ASAP Rocky. I saw you. Relly collecting them shells. I had a bag, and I just wrote ASAP shells on them.
One at a time. I was in, to me, that one in person, and I was in there like, I go black and white or gray in my videos, and I needed to do that in person because that trial, what are we doing here?
What? They're going to trial again. He's suing Taco Pina.
Yeah, yep.
And Rocky again, but on the civil side. And then he's got Camille Vasquez. You saw her in court, did you know?
Yep.
Wow. She has been, I think I saw her name in one of the Diddy dockets recently.
I think I did too, actually. You saying that is familiar to me.
Yes, one of them,
The problem is
BuzzFeed.
oh.
She's represented, but Camille's been getting into some things recently. It's like, oh, girl, the shenanigans. Thank you, Mark. Really appreciate that. For always, forever, for life. Been with me 9 months. Says, have you ever thought about Mel? You want to be alert?
Oh, me? No. I don't want to.
I said if y'all had questions for Mel.
I have no desire to do that, child.
And she's like, no, I need my sanity.
Yeah, I do need, and you know what? It's actually, as I was saying at the beginning, started this because of my like genuine love and interest for it, right? And you ever something that you love and then make it your job, and then all of a sudden you hate it, right? It's not as fun anymore. So that's why I'm like, if I were to become a lawyer, it wouldn't be fun anymore.
Sis, I did not become a lawyer, but I'm over here and I'm loving it. Like, I'd much rather do YouTube instead, you know? So we're always forever for life. Thank you so much. Trainwreck Entertainment pops in, content creator, been a member with me for 9 months. Says, thanks to you, we're all caught up. Great job, baby. Yeah, you know, and I'm so happy to do this with you today, Mel, just because it's trial day number 1. But like, I think that we've given people like a clear picture of what's happened first trial, and I thought that was really important with someone that's also done the YSL trial before.
Yeah.
That way, like, we can bring people up to speed.
For sure.
And then, thank you, Trainwreck. Appreciate that. And then lastly, never color for free with the two. So thanks for having us, co-conspirators.
My Patreon, we call ourselves the co-conspirators. Our
I
patrons.
love it. I love it. And if one of the mods are around, if y'all could drop a link to Mel's Patreon if you want to.
Thank you.
As well, yes, of course, of course. I'm gonna scroll up to see if I got any of those questions, those cues. Here's some golf girl. She says, "What did Mel think of sus Allie McCabe?"
Oh, Allie was the daughter, right? The daughter who had they had life alert or something, and she had the dog, and she drove past the school, and then she came back. Everything was so off for me, right? That's was Allie McCabe. Sometimes I get.
I think so. I think so. Chat, keep us honest here, because I know y'all are a little bit deeper into it than we are. But I do think that is the case.
Oh, I can like her. It's like 360.
Like 360.
Thank you. See, yeah. I just was trying to make sure. Yeah, I didn't. Her testimony wasn't. It just, you know what? A lot of the children and the younger people in this case feel like they are going along with what they are instructed and told to do. So I wasn't really buying it. The whole she's the one who went to go pick up Colin, and it just stuff. Who's my favorite TV judge? It's not Judy. It's Judge Millian.
Yeah, she's good.
Score. And to say if it doesn't make sense, it's not the truth.
I love that.
And that's how this case feels. Everything I just am like, it doesn't make sense. So yeah.
Hang on. Go ahead. Block the hell out of somebody. I do that from time to time. Let's go to Terrence. Jonathan Terrence says, "What are Mel's goals for her platform?" Okay, Terrence asks twice. What are your goals for your platform?
Terrence comes to somebody else from my Patreon who is trolling me right now.
I love it.
I am, as you said, building the plane as a flight. Okay, we are figuring things out. I do love to do cases that are genuinely interesting to me, because I think that makes a difference, right? Like when you are able to talk about things and it's exciting to you and actually interesting. I just think you present the information and engage with the audience in a different way. And so my goal is to continue doing things that I think are interesting and also that the audience is interested in, and hopefully being able to shine light on cases too. I think that's one of the things that we get to do with platforms, especially as we grow them. A lot of times we introduce people to some of these cases. And so that's always a joy as well.
Okay, I love it. I love it. Well, it looks like that is all we have for questions. I'm so grateful to you, Mel, for coming on.